Kenzen the réalisateur was born out of a very specific set of circumstances in May '68, and it was a vehicle for a protest movement by a group of cinema makers or film makers, the Nouvelle Vague. Is the Kenzen the réalisateur doing something similar, or what is it doing now as something really different or avant-garde or breaking the mold?
No, the situation has very much changed, because at that time, what the directors were reproaching to the official selection was too official, coming too much from the ministries. This has changed radically. Gilles Jacome and now Thierry Frémaux are really were and are really artistic directors, and they are also open to new cinema. So that's not exactly our role now. We have changed.
So did you reinvent yourself?
Every year we reinvent ourselves, because if we are going to see movies with an idea, preconceived idea,
or a mission statement,
yes, about what we have to do, we fail. Because what we can think before and what is really the offer of cinema are two things very different, if not antagonists. So we have really to be aware of what can surprise, what can we bring to the audience, and to the future audiences also, the ones we will discover the movies after Cannes, because that's the real life of the movies is not only in this festival.
Do you think that multiculturalism is changing the face of French cinema, or the North African French directors? We're still confined into the niche of the immigration.
Speaking of the past, there were a few movies made by Rachid Bouchareb or Malik Shiban which were great successes, and not only in the niche but outside. And I'm sure that the movie made by Rachid Jaidani with Gérard Depardieu will really touch a larger audience than only the suburbs of Paris. It's the same with Houda Benyamina. I'm sure that the movie is so strong that it will touch all the classes, all the ages, and so there is a change. Yes, new directors are coming. These two we have selected this year are really, I think, representative of the trend, and that's a new generation that are approximately the same age, Rachid and Houda. They are friends. They're coming from theater, and they have a way of using with the reality, which is very similar.
I spoke to many of these directors, and they told me that they feel that they are restricted to the immigration subjects, and they will never break into mainstream French cinema. Is this changing, do you think?
But what is mainstream in French cinema?
I mean non-immigration films, let's say.
That sometimes, a movie like, for example, what is the main problem we have now in France? Maybe it's the way some people of the ex-working class, people of the low parts of the society with French origins have prejudices against people who have the same level, social level, but who are coming from the immigration. And the movie by Rachid is the clash between a rapper coming from an Arab origin and a so-called French, because both are French, worker who has lost a long time ago his industrial job, and now is full of resentment, and he will discover that their interests are common. So
it's a class conflict rather than a racial conflict.
In the movie by Rachid Jaidani, yes. Houda is different. She's speaking about the dreams of young girls in the suburbs, but these young girls are also coming from the immigration, but they're coming at two generations. They are French now. We have to, France has to deal with that. It's the long past of colonial dominations, but now they are not different from somebody who is coming from Bourgogne. So I think these two directors have made also very popular movies, and maybe the renewal of the popular film in France can come from this direction, from the people who are coming from immigration, and we try to touch the people they know and the people they don't know.
We know that the Nouvelle Vague was treating specific philosophical and existential subjects, and also they used a technique that matched these ideas at the time. How much these ideas and these techniques are relevant today?
I think the techniques is still relevant because they were forced by their choices to be light, to have light material to make the movies. So it's still relevant at this level, and maybe at the level of style, it's still relevant. About the topics they were treating, I think a lot of water passed under the bridges in Paris. So in a landscape which has very much changed, when the Nouvelle Vague appeared, the French cinema was very pyramidal, but these boys, because it was only boys at the exception of Agnès Varda, but she had not the same ideas as François Truffaut, for example, at the time. So Nouvelle Vague is a very large term for people who were very different. But if we speak about the main trend, there were boys, there were white. At that time, the immigration was not in the mind of these people. They were speaking sometimes, Jean-Luc Godard, of the Algerian war, but normally they were only speaking about Paris or the province, but about the bourgeoisie, about very moral and intellectual problems. It's really different today. If you see Mercenary or Huda Benyamina's Divine or Rachid Jaidani's Tour de France, they are speaking about social problems and really obviously. Or the documentary by Sebastian Lifshitz, for example, is speaking also about the history of the feminist movement, and that's also very new. The history since '68 till today. The problems are really different.
Also, the expectations of the audience is changing today.
Also, and there is a new audience. Now they have a lot of part of the audience is coming from the suburbs. They have these problems in front of them. They don't want only to be seduced like Jean Silver by Jean-Paul Belmondo. They want maybe some actors which are more like they are, like for example Sadek in the movie by Rachid Jaidani.
So you spoke about the directors and the audience. How about the critiques? We know that the critiques in the 60s in Cahiers du Cinema played a very important role in making the films themselves. Do they have the same power today?
No, it's obviously no. First, the press has not the power it had 50 years ago, and also not only lowered, but it's a dissemination with the new means and the new media. So it's very more difficult to say the trend is that, or the response of the critics is that. All the guys were white and coming from all provincial bourgeoisie. It changed a lot.
We can say that Agnès Varda then it was the exception, being female and being of foreign origin as well.
You know, if we are looking more acutely to the Nouvelle Vague, there were the Nouvelle Vague really said, and then another trend which was what we called at that time la rive gauche, left bank. So there was Agnès Varda, a woman, Alain Resnais, a man who knew a little about his story, and Chris Marker. And these three were really different from the Nouvelle Vague. Usually today, because the people have no memory because they are too young to have a memory because they didn't live at that time, they put everybody together. But that was really two different trends, and politically also. Agnès Varda, Chris Marker, and Alain Resnais were from the left. And from the anti-Stalinist left. Alain Resnais was speaking about the colonialism, Chris Marker was making political movies, and Agnès Varda was speaking about women, about the domination. So that was, there were two trends. I think the new cinema has very much also to learn from Agnès Varda, Alain Resnais, and Chris Marker.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.